Welcome back to yet another episode. This video is going to be completely and utterly different than anything I've done before. I was looking at camera news, photography news, that kind of thing, and I came across something that really sparked, something within me to really start questioning everything that I've seen in regards to photography competitions and contests. Yeah, there's some things that are happening in the photography world that are, frankly, are just unbelievable. I'm going to give you a little background story here. So there's a guy that I know, and unfortunately, he is what we would just deem as a pathological liar. And I thought to myself, maybe that's the issue that I'm seeing with these articles. And we'll get to the article in a minute, so you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Now, with the guy that I know, I mean, he tried everything from, he was an Air Force pilot in the Israeli military, but then when I started asking him questions about which fighter jets he was using, he couldn't quite get it right, kind of thing. And then, he was happy that he got a certain vehicle, and then he mentioned that the company messed up and sent him the wrong one. It was really the prototype from an auto show that had more power. And for you automotive people who get what I'm about to say, it's easier for me to explain it just as it was. So he was claiming that right now it's a front wheel drive car. It's a Hyundai Veloster, and he was saying that he had the Velociraptor edition, which was, I believe, a prototype vehicle when the Veloster was coming out. And it was a prototype vehicle that was done specifically for the SEMA aftermarket show. Anyway, so he says that he got the Velociraptor edition by accident. And it was going to become all-wheel drive once they upgraded his OBD to OBD2. Now, for those who don't know what OBD is, it's the onboard diagnostics. It's just the electronic plug that you take it to the dealership, you have a check engine light, they plug in the computer, they look to see what the code is, and it tells them what's actually wrong with the car. That's all it is. So you're not going to mysteriously just all of a sudden go from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive by changing a plug. That's not how it works. But anyway, then he went on to say that it was his rally car, and he's doing rally racing professionally, and he's sponsored by Monster energy drink. So it was one of those things. So I told him, just putting a Monster sticker on your car doesn't make you sponsored by the company. But the problem with pathological liars is they believe what they're saying so wholeheartedly that they can't even acknowledge that they've been caught. Right? So, going to these articles. So, my thought was, well, maybe instead of lambasting, I can't even say the word, but instead of, blasting these photographers for what they're doing, maybe there's a deeper rooted issue. Maybe they are pathological liars. They just can't get out of it. But then they do actually, once they've been caught, they do acknowledge that they made a mistake, and they start removing all the stuff that they've done. So it's not really the case of them being pathological liars. They're just flat out defrauding competitions. One of the photographers is Australia's highest rated photographer or something, and won over 200 contests and published books, and brand ambassador for a bunch of different companies, but every single image that they used to win was a composite of other stock images that they compiled together, and the rules state that it has to be your own body of work, but she was using other people's bodies of work. Yeah, so I don't know. You know what? Let's just, I'm just going to fire up my computer here, and we're going to actually take a good look at what's actually been happening. So basically, just own what you do. If you composite the photos, just stick with it. You know, just grab a hold of the fact that you're an incredible compositor. And that's basically what this turns into. And the images are absolutely incredible. And they are masterfully put together. Own it. Don't make things up to make it something that it's absolutely not. You know, if you're an amazing natural light photographer, then that's fantastic. You're an amazing natural light photographer. You're an amazing flash photographer, then you're an amazing flash photographer. You know, you're an amazing wildlife photographer, amazing landscape, portraits, you know, surreal, I don't know, astrophotographer. You know, it's just own what your skill set is. Like, why? I just don't understand. It's really not fair to the rest of the community, right? Like, you enter a contest, and then this person who's not even using images that, you know, not even using their own images, comes in and, you know, say the purse is $1,000, and they win this 200 times in a row. You know what I mean? That's not fair to the community. You know, for the people that really have put in the work of travel to get the photo, to, you know, travel to get the other photo, you know, the people who have really done it and it's all their own body of work, then someone else swoops in by using images from other sources without any credit to the original artist or anything. You know, it's just wow. So yeah, I don't know how many of you even realize that this is actually something that's been happening. I think it's terrible. But yeah, let's take a look at some of the people and what's been going on. So here is an article in Petapixel in regards to a photographer, Ben Sheehan. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. He's from New Zealand, and he's a pet photographer. Now, here is the image that you know, that he composited with the dog here, and here's the original image. Now, I mean, it's pretty clear that it's the exact same image. I mean, two photographers aren't going to show up at the same place and get the exact same image. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you set everything up on a tripod. You're a few inches over, or, you know, a foot. Like, you're not going to get the exact same perspective of an image. You're just not, right? Let's see another example here. So these here, yeah, so these are other examples of his images, you know, all with dogs. Let's see if I can zoom this in. Just a little. There we go. Okay. So here is, I know it's going to be a bit blurred because it's zoomed in, but it's the best I can do. It's the best I can do. So here's the images that he's taken. I like this one. This one's pretty cool. But, you know, I mean, they do look great. I mean, they look amazing, you know, and you know, just own what you're doing. That's pretty much all there is to it. You know, just, if you composite the images, then just straight up say it. But I mean, they even give background stories of exactly, you know, what, you know, how they captured the image and the traveling they had to do, but they didn't travel anywhere, right? So here's the original here. It's $4.99 US. You know, I'm assuming that this is what they paid to use this image. You know, and then this is how they composited it. You know, it looks great. You know, so let's move on here. So yeah, when asked on Instagram whether the photo is a composite, Sheehan responded that it wasn't, and provided information on how it was captured. Right. So straight up, they asked, "Love the long exposure as well. If you don't mind me asking, is this a composite?" Ben Sheehan's answer was no. It isn't. The water looked awful. I took the picture with a remote release, so I blurred the water as best I could, blah, 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 blah. So he said, I'm actually behind him, the dog, crouched down throwing stuff. He will stand anywhere I place him. Right? So, I mean, they're completely making up stories that never happened. Never happened. And here's another one. So here's the image that he submitted, or I think it's on his Instagram, obviously. And here's the original. So it did some color grading and everything. But like I said, I mean, the composites are amazing. And if that's what it is, just say it. Just own what it is that you're doing. And this one clearly is just not possible for two different photographers to literally get the exact same image. It's just not possible. And I mean, it goes on and on, right? Now, there's another photographer here that also got caught. This one. Now, this one is huge. This one is absolutely huge. Award-winning photographer, as like photographer of the year in Australia, year after year. She's won numerous prestigious award or contests, both her country and internationally. She's won over 200 awards over the course of her career. She's also the brand ambassador for Ilford, Manfrotto, Epson, Fodex, Tamron, and ISO. However, I don't know if this is still the case because this article was in February of 2019, right? But it's the same thing. So here we've got an image that she created. Now, these are more of like digital illustrations more so than photography, but there are photography elements in it. And but at the same time, I mean, if you're leaning more towards the digital artist side, then just submit images to the digital artist side, right? But if you're using other people's images, you got to give credit where credit is due. Like we're all in the game together. We all know, what garners respect. And if you want people to respect your work, you need to respect the work of other people. So I don't really, this whole defrauding the system thing is it's just crazy to me. And there's this bonsai tree, which you can see is pretty much identical. I mean, obviously, it's cut off. Here's the original bonsai tree, but it's been cut off here. And there's later on she had mentioned her mother had passed away, and this was her mother's bonsai tree and all this other stuff. And it's just, but it's not. At least according to all this, I mean, that's a little different. This is exactly the same. This is the same, right? If you look down here, so it is pretty evident that this is the same tree. Just a little tad bit of editing was done. Okay, yeah, and the tree is up here, right? So there's just a tad bit of editing work that was done to this original tree. But I don't understand, like, making up the stories and. Oh man, yeah, it's and it goes on and on. Like, this is her series Anonymous Man. It's 4 images. So maybe she took the photos of the person. I'm not even sure if that was done or if these are just completely digital illustrations. But these are all composited images of a bunch of other images all put together. So originally her controversy was regarding the line between photo illustrations and pure photography, which that's always been a controversy. When you edit so much that it becomes no more of a surreal digital illustration, more so than a photograph. And I think that's going to be something that's always going to be, debated back and forth from both ends. But now it's a matter of them blatantly using other photographers' photos to create the photo illustrations, right? So, here's an example. So here's the original, image. It's the person running, and, I don't even know what they're running on, but, I'd like to go to this place. This looks pretty cool. And then here is Lisa Saad's image. Now, you can even see the other window area here. Slightly edited. But the overall is the same. And here's the back-to-back overlay. I mean, it's pretty evident that it is the same image. You know, perhaps, you know, I guess along here she changed a little bit, but this section here, the teardrop kind of looking thing or raindrop thing, you know, it's identical. And then here is that heart anonymous man thing. And here, oh, let's see, there was another, oh, here we are. Here's all the images. So there's the bonsai tree, which is here. And then here's the original bonsai tree. Let's see, and then here's another example of, so here's all the images that were used, all the stock images that were used to create this. And like I said, I mean, the bodies of work are amazing. They absolutely are. Here's a tree that was used, and then this one here. There's this. Let's see. So there's a fence line, and there's some, you know, maybe this is part of a photograph. Okay, well, not the person, but perhaps this. You know, it's hard to tell. But the actual digital illustrations are absolutely incredible. The only issue is they're not all your own, right? So you're using other people's bodies of works to win, you know, all these awards and everything, you know, but then there's other people that really have put in the work, and it really makes you start to want, like, I'm lost for words. I'm so shocked. But, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, like, are the contests even worth entering anymore? If this is what wins contests, stealing other people's images or utilizing other people's images, claiming them for your own in order for you to win the contest, you know, like, is it even worth actually entering? You know, like, the rules have got to, there's got to be a way to really be able to figure out whether or not the images are original. And I think, especially for a photo contest, you've got to be able to prove with EXIF data in regards to whether or not you're the one who really took each and every single one of those images. So looking at this one, you've got this clip art image here, which is this dog. You've got this tree, which is this tree. So let's see where, I don't see this tree though. Huh, yeah, I don't see that one. For this one, I see this. I think they got the wrong, okay, no, maybe a section of this tree was used. And then this person here. Yeah, you know, so it's unbelievable that this is actually happening. And I mean, the awards that she's won are just, you know, okay, these are people complaining about, so in 2018, Australian Commercial Photographer of the Year, Gold with Distinction, Gold, Silver with Distinction, Victorian Commercial Photographer of the Year winner, Victorian Illustrative Photographer of the Year winner. I mean, she just won, like, all these awards over and over and over, right? However, later on in 2019, the Australian Institute of Professional Photography rescinded its award and also banned Lisa Saad. You know, so eventually the stuff will come out. You know what I mean? So if you are doing photo illustrations, or you're doing digital art, or you're just doing the photography thing, honestly, just own your craft. There is nothing wrong with just being completely and utterly honest about the body of work that you're doing. You know, like the honesty portion, be honest with yourself, be honest to the community. That way, you know, you don't risk any backlash, and you don't have to think of a lie to cover up another lie to cover up another lie. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't understand the thought process behind why people would do that. I mean, everyone who enters a contest or competition, yes, you obviously enter because you're hoping that you can win. But at the same time, to manipulate the system and basically do it with the premise of completely being a fraud, you know, that's just not cool, especially as a community. It's hard enough being a photographer as it is, you know, but to have another person within that field do something like that is just, to me, is just unfathomable. Unfathomable. I can't even talk. It's just not right. Yeah, maybe I should have just stuck with that. But, you know, so, I mean, and this isn't something new. This has been happening for a while. I mean, if you look up a Google search of, you know, photographer caught stealing, I'm sure there's going to be a gazillion different articles in regards to that thing. It's been happening for a very long time. And, you know, it kind of makes you not want to enter the contests and competitions and all that stuff, because you don't really know what you're looking at, right? But, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this video. If you like the video, leave a like. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Helps me out. If you'd like to support the channel, I leave that information at the bottom of the description. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And you will see me on my next video. I'm out.